Here's a picture of me 3 years ago, back when people used to make fun of how skinny I was. And here's a picture of me now. I went from being embarrassed to even look in the mirror, skinny arms, flat chest, and zero confidence, to getting accused of being a fake natty every single day. But most importantly, I'm finally confident in the physique that I've built over the last 3 years. And it's still growing even 3 years into my journey, as you can see with the stretch marks that I have right here.
I think you're literally right now getting like stretch marks from the set.
And no, it's not because of a needle. And in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through the 5 exact steps that helped me go from skinny to jacked fast, so that you can skip the trial and error and finally start seeing some real progress. And real quick, before we dive in, make sure you click the subscribe button and drop a like. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and lets me know that you guys are enjoying these kinds of videos so I can make more of them. Let's get into it. And we're gonna be starting with step 1, which is to eat clean and to eat a lot. Now, if you're a skinny guy just like I was, I'm sure that you've been told before that if you wanted to bulk up, you need to eat more. But what does that even mean? How much more do you need to eat? And the truth is, you need to be in a caloric surplus, which just means that you need to be eating more calories than what your body burns every single day. And if you don't know how much your maintenance calories are, I'm gonna put the link to a calorie calculator down below. Just click on it, put your age, height, weight, activity level, and it's gonna basically give you what it thinks your maintenance calories are. And basically that number is what your body needs in order to maintain its weight. And from there, all you need to do is add 300 to 400 calories on top of that number to start lean bulking properly. That's honestly the sweet spot that I found, because you're not going to be putting on weight too slowly, but also you're not going to be putting on too much fat. But also, lean bulking is not an excuse to start eating junk food. That's where I've seen most people mess up. They either undereat and just waste their time, or they overeat and they start eating junk food and they put on a bunch of fat instead. What you want is a clean bulk. And that means you need to stick to whole foods. Foods like chicken, beef, eggs, basically food that haven't been processed. And you also need to make sure that your protein is high. What I like to aim for is usually 1 gram per pound of body weight. So right now I'm maybe like 181 to 182 pounds. So I will be aiming to get 182 grams of protein every single day to build on muscle instead of putting on fat. And the reason why you want to keep your protein high is to make sure that you're actually building muscle with that surplus instead of just putting on body weight. And yeah, that's pretty simple. That's how you clean bulk. And also make sure you're aiming to have 3 to 5 or even maybe 6 meals a day spread out across the day. However, as a former skinny guy with a shit appetite and a really fast metabolism, I know that eating that much is a lot easier said than done. Which brings me to step number 2, and that is to eat calorie-dense foods and liquid calories. Now here's the real cheat code. Instead of trying to cram in more food, start focusing on eating calorie-dense foods and liquid calories instead. And the reason why they're so effective is because these foods are going to give you a lot more calories without taking up too much space in your stomach, compared to having the same amount of calories from something like a plate of chicken breast, rice, and broccoli. You want to eat healthy, high-calorie dense foods like nuts, peanut butter, olive oil that have healthy fats. And now to my favorite cheat code, liquid calories. Because when you're too full to eat another bite, you can almost always still drink more. And this shake right here helped me gain over 25 pounds in my first few months of bulking. It has over 900 calories and 65 grams of protein. I'll put the recipe right over here. It tastes extremely good, it's really easy to drink, and also it'll help you hit your calorie goal without making you feel bloated or feel like shit all day. Have one of these once or twice a day and you'll be in a surplus without even realizing it. Now that you've got the eating part down, let's talk about how to actually turn that food into muscle. Now, if your goal is to get jacked, then that means that you need to be training in a way to build an aesthetic physique. You can't just copy what people on Reddit are recommending you to do. You need to train with intention and also with proportions and symmetry in mind. And that means prioritizing wide shoulders, a thick back, a strong chest, and that aesthetic V taper that we're all chasing. And I get it, a lot of guys just follow random workouts they found online and then they wonder why they look the same a year later. But if you actually want to build an aesthetic physique that looks good in and out of a pump, I made a full video that breaks this down step by step, how to train for aesthetics, which muscles to focus on, and why. I'll put the link to that video down in the description, just click on it and go watch it after this one. And now we'll move on to step number 4, and that is to train the right way. This one honestly goes hand in hand with the last one, but it's even more important if you're a beginner or someone who's just stuck not seeing any progress. It's not just what you train, it's how you train. You could have the best program in the world, but if your form sucks, your tempo sucks, you're not pushing yourself in the gym and actually going to failure, then you're just wasting your time and you're not going to see any results, or at least you're not going to see the results that you're looking for. So here's how you actually train the right way. This is where most beginners mess up. They just pick up the weights and move them with no intention, no control, just bouncing through reps with momentum. You want to slow it down. Make sure you're focusing on controlling the eccentric part of the movement, which is the lowering phase of the lift, and also make sure you focus on pausing in the stretch position of the movement. And the reason why I keep telling this in my videos is because it's been proven that the stretch position of a movement is the most effective for muscle growth. And obviously pausing not only allows you to get more gains in the long term, but also it helps you not use any momentum. You know, a lot of people that I've coached in my program, I see them basically bouncing the weights, but if they focus on just pausing at the bottom, it's going to be a lot harder to use momentum. You're literally stopping at the bottom and you're not going to be able to, you know, bounce through the reps. So not only you're going to get more gains, but also it's going to pretty much force you to actually have proper form. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Make sure you start doing it. Yeah, you're also going to be building way more muscle by doing 8 to 10 clean reps with a moderate weight, then doing 8 to 12 garbage reps, swinging heavy weights like it's a CrossFit workout. Number 2 is to progressively overload. If you're not getting stronger over time, you're just not going to grow. And that's exactly what progressive overload is. You just need to find a way to make the workout harder and harder over time. But progressive overload isn't just about adding weight. It could also mean just adding 1 or 2 reps with the same weight, controlling the tempo of an exercise, or even just improving your range of motion of a specific exercise. And all of that is progress. So don't just chase the numbers, make sure you're chasing the slight improvements over time. And number 3 is to train to failure. If you're not training close to failure, then you're just not training hard enough to grow. And no, I'm not talking about stopping when your muscles start to burn. I'm talking about true failure.
Come on. Almost passed out, bro.
The point where your form breaks down, your reps slow down, and even if your life depended on it, you physically can't do one more rep. That's the level you need to hit, especially on your last set. Most people quit way too early. They stop at like 10 reps when they could have done 4 or 5 more. They're technically working out, but they're not really training. But when you start pushing your sets to that breaking point, and that's when your body starts saying, all right, we need to grow in order to be able to survive this next time. And that's how you start seeing real results. So start going there. And if you don't know where to start, I have a bunch of free guides that I've posted on this channel. I'll put the link to the playlist down in the description. Just click on it, go watch it after this video. I have a video for every single muscle group and how to train it the right way. Go check it out after this video. And that brings me to last but not least, step number 5, and that is to stay consistent and to trust the process. And in my opinion, this is the most important part out of the whole video, because consistency is going to be the most important thing on your journey. It's the one thing that separates people that have a really good transformation and that are proud of their physique from those that give up after a few weeks and start making excuses. You'll probably find a bunch of them in my comments, but stay consistent. And that's why I always say stop comparing yourself to people, especially online. And the reason is because most people are either lying about their transformation, they are on PEDs to get faster results, or they have top 1% genetics, including myself. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I definitely have really good genetics, but I was only able to tell because I had a good plan, because I put in the work for 3 years straight, never took a break, never made an excuse. And also, instead of comparing myself to people, I got inspired by them. You know, I used to watch David Lade, Lex Little, which I've worked out with recently, Alex Eubank as well. And I used to look at them and be like, all right, I can do that as well. Instead of comparing myself and saying, oh, I'll never get there, I'll never be able to achieve that point, I would look at them and feel like I could get there and, you know, I could do it myself. And obviously at that time I thought they were natural, which I still think Lex is. Obviously the other ones, I'm not gonna get into it, but you can look at me. You can look at me and get inspired. I am natural, I'm a lifetime natural. But again, I'm not saying that you should be expecting the same exact results, but at least get inspired by it and believe in the fact that it is possible if you decide to put in the work. I'm not saying you're gonna get there in 3 years like me. You might get there in 5, 6, whatever. But believing that you can is always gonna get you more results than making excuses and saying you're never gonna get there. That's the main thing that I want you guys to realize. And here's the one and most important tip that helped me honestly when I first started until today. I still use it, and it's this simple phrase: the time is going to pass anyway. Whether you decide to lock in and put in the work or just waste your time doing nothing, the next 3 years are still gonna go by. So the real question is, do you wanna be 3 years in with results or 3 years in with regret? Stop thinking of it as a long, slow journey, because you're gonna be making progress every single day, even on the days it doesn't feel like it.
You know, the time's gonna go by anyway. Like, I could have started when I was 17. Yeah. Fuck, I'll start right now. And I started when I was 19.
I'm gonna order a bench right now, order 2 dumbbells, and the rest is history. I started training for from home, did a few workouts, and I took everything seriously. You're still gonna be getting those small wins daily, building your discipline, and getting close to the physique you want every single day. And if you follow the steps that I've given you in this video and you stay consistent, trust me, you're on the right path. And if you're watching this video and you're actually ready to get started with your transformation and need some help, I offer one-on-one coaching where I will help you build your custom plan, guide you step by step, and make sure you don't waste years of progress like most people do. So yeah, if you're serious about building your dream physique like these people here, just click in the link down below. I'll put it at the first link in bio, and you can apply to work with me one-on-one. Or just DM me the word coach on Instagram and I'll get back to you. And if you want to save on the best supplements in the world, make sure you use code Hussein on HLT subs. We have these new pre-workouts, Greg Doucette's pre-workout, mine, Hussein Mode, probably the best pre I've ever tried. Again, I might be a little bit biased. Honestly, I'm not biased. I've tried a bunch of flavors before and this was my favorite one. And we also have Janicky Juice. Pause, all right? But yeah, you can grab these at HLT subs and use code Hussein to save 15% off. And yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. If this helped, make sure you click the subscribe button, click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. And whether you decide to do it on your own or with my help, just don't wait. Your dream physique is possible, but it's up to you to make it happen. As always, love y'all. Peace.